Breaking news this morning from the Vatican, where we've learned Pope Francis has died. These are live images right now of St. Peter's Square. Mourners are starting to gather. The news came just over 2 hours ago that we do know the pontiff suffered from chronic lung disease and had been admitted to the hospital back in February. He was discharged a little over a month ago after suffering from pneumonia in both lungs. But many people had expected to go to St. Peter's Square to celebrate Easter, and this day after Easter, they expected more celebrations, but instead today, Catholics are gathering to mourn the loss of Pope Francis. And joining me live in studio right now is Father Paul Seil. Thank you for being here this morning.
You're welcome.
Tell me about Pope Francis's legacy. How will he be remembered?
Well, I think he will be remembered as a pope who tried his best to raise the profile of the marginalized, the poor, those on the fringes of society. He did this in a very obvious ways by breaking some of the rules, if you will, by meeting with different people that a lot of times popes didn't meet with, and inviting them, as I remember and mentioned earlier, to when it was his birthday or Easter, Christmas and things, he'd have dinners with hundreds of people. Some people really who had nothing to offer him at all in any material way, and yet he saw them all as fratelli, sorelli, my brothers, my sisters, you know. He would say all, tutto, all, you know. And I think that that's one thing that he'll be remembered for. He'll also, I think, be remembered for his commitment to the gospel of social values, especially coming from Argentina, from South America, where liberation theology and other what were considered very controversial theologies kind of grew years ago, especially during the papacy of Pope John Paul II. And I think, you know, one of his sayings was lead with mercy. I think that's one of the things that people will remember about him. The other thing, you know, he would say things like, Holy Communion is not a reward for the holy, but it is medicine for the sick. So he tried to include different people. And you know, his whole thing of inclusion, you know, the Orthodox churches celebrate Easter on a different calendar than the Roman Catholic Church. So they're usually weeks, and they could even be a month apart, the celebration of Easter. And the Holy Father wanted those to be joined somehow together by using a common calendar. Yesterday, Easter Sunday, for the first time in a long time, both Easters of the Orthodox, the Eastern rites of the Church, and the Western were the same day. And it was also the last day of Passover, you know? So it was a beautiful day of unity and wonder. The other thing about the Pope is he would often say that the church must be a field hospital, like a tent. You know, it's not like everybody should come to the building, but that we as the church need to go out to others and be people who really take care of our brothers and sisters. And I think those, more than any of his teachings, will probably, as well as his great care for the environment. You know, he really was very big on, you know, taking care of creation, God's creation.
Father Paul Seil, thank you.
Thank you
for being here to help us remember Pope Francis, who we've learned this morning has died at the age of 88. A Pope known for his mercy and compassion. We will continue to follow this breaking news throughout the morning here on Daybreak. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this.